Good morning to everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, great. Then it's my pleasure to present to you our speaker for today is Reverend Kyoku Tracey Walen. Began practicing Buddhism in 1998 and was ordained in 2008 and given Dharma transmission by Byakuren Judith Ragir in 2015. She trained from 2008 to 2010 at Great Vow Zen Monastery. She also studied Zen sewing with Tomoe Katagiri and has become one of her successors. Currently, she resides and supports Hokyoji and also serves as a Zen teacher at Clouds and Waters Zen Center in St. Paul. And I want to say we're particularly grateful for Kyoku's service at Hokyoji. At least I am. I have to start getting this memorized because my dementia setting in. But how long have you been at Hokyoji, Kyoku?
This is year 4.
Year 4. Okay. So that means you came in 2018?
Yes.
I'm doing my math right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try to get that impressed in my memory. Okay. All right. Well, without further ado, we are looking forward to hearing what you have to say today, Kyoku. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. So I'd like to start out with inviting us all to dedicate our time together this morning to all of those who are suffering. I'd like to recognize the Dakota, Sauk, and Winnebago peoples whose descendants are still here and whose lands we occupy, even though we stole them. I'd like to offer deep gratitude to our Indian, Chinese, and Japanese spiritual ancestors for all they've given to us and for the chance to practice here at Hokyoji and at Clouds and Water today. Can you hear me okay? So let us stand with the Black community and all people of color who have suffered historic persecution and continuing discrimination. We are all connected, and may we work together for the liberation of all beings. I'd like to share a teaching today given by Thich Nhat Hanh, Thai as he's called by the people who are his students. And that talk was called Making Peace with Ourselves. Our practice is to be in brotherhood and sisterhood, because without that, happiness is not possible. We practice in such a way that brotherhood and sisterhood can be developed and clearly seen every day by us and by others. That brotherhood and sisterhood practice nourishes us every day, and it helps us have enough energy in order to be happy. It helps us, and it helps society. So brotherhood and sisterhood practice is a kind of daily food that nourishes us. but it's also a daily food that we need to provide for ourselves through our practice. So we need to make sure that our meditation, our sitting, mindful eating, mindful drinking, mindful preparation of our meals, how we dress, how we look at television, everything should help in building up more brotherhood and more sisterhood. So that can only happen if we indeed build peace within ourselves. And because we're all connected, if we don't have peace within ourselves, we cannot have peace around us. So it's very important, really important, to be there for yourself. And for this, we need to be able to generate the energy of mindfulness in every moment. Undaunted, every moment. But we are seldom there to attend to ourselves, to attend to our body, to our feelings, to our perceptions. Without mindfulness in every moment, we cannot be here. So, for example, when we drink tea, when I drink tea, I'm usually not aware. We get lost in our worries, our plans for our future, whatever else we're trying to do simultaneously at the same time. So, when you do that, you're not there. You're not aware. Thich Nhat Hanh calls this machine tea drinking. So to really drink our tea, we need to go back and be fully present. Doing that in every moment. Thich Nhat Hanh has a phrase, a mindfulness phrase that I love. This cup of tea in my two hands. Mindfulness, perfectly held. That is a much different way of drinking tea than looking someplace else, reading something else, while bringing my teacup to my mouth and drinking mindlessly. We can all do this. It's not something that anyone is unable to do. And you can't do this unless you really want to. Otherwise, you fall into your habits. You have to be there. You have to be here to recognize what is going on now, here, this. drinking, sitting, walking, looking, listening, breathing, eating. If we really want to, we can all learn to do everything mindfully every day to help us be there for ourselves. That is the first action of peace, is to be there for ourselves. Yourself is 5 elements: body, feelings, perceptions, formations, consciousness, in a continuous flowing stream that happens faster than we can take it in. So first, you begin with the body. And you begin with the breath, which is, in the words of Thich Nhat Hanh, your door to making peace. Our breath is always experienceable. And this is important because you might be a stranger to your body. When we've not been mindful in every moment, when we've not committed to that, and really understood how important it is to us and to everything in our world. We're quite often strangers to our bodies ourselves. As Thich Nhat Hanh puts it, your territory has been occupied, not by yourself, but by your despair and anger and frustration and desire, illusion. And you must go back to your territory to restore your sovereignty. The first place to start is by embracing and calming the body. It allows the body to restore itself, to reclaim itself, and to heal from all the ways in which we abuse it. But we usually don't really authorize reclamation. We abuse it and treat it with a violence that arises out of the way we eat, we drink, we work, we worry. So returning to the breath is of enormous importance. It's like a mother with an ailing baby. It's very important to learn, really, how to completely relax our bodies, according to Thich Nhat Hanh. It's our first act of peace. And actually, bodies know how to restore themselves if we're fully present in them, if we give them a chance to calm down and rest, instead of the violence that would normally we carry out without thinking. Again, in the way that we mindlessly eat and breathe and talk and walk So relaxing the body, concentrating on the breath, being mindful in each moment is a way of tenderly embracing this territory of ours. And when we do that, when we calm ourselves, when we allow the body to rest, it restores itself. We don't have to do something to it. The second element, feelings, is another kind of continuously flowing river. Feelings arise and stay and affect all other elements, not just our own, but in everything else. And we seldom really take care of our feelings. We're often afraid of them. We often run away from them. We take refuge outside of ourselves. There's always our phones. There's always something to go eat or something to distract us. So we need to learn to go home to them instead of leaving those feelings alone. I see you. I'm here for you. I'll take care of you. So we take that unseeable second to simply recognize and embrace our feelings before we go further. We see them. Perceptions. Thich Nhat Hanh says we perceive realities. We have images of everything created. This is continuously flowing. It never stops. On my vacation recently, I spent a lot of time by the ocean, and that is like a great teacher for me. It really helps me come home, and the fact that it never stops is also a very important experience of reality. However, our perceptions are often wrong. So they can put us into a state of panic, war, fear, especially unpleasant feelings. And we've allowed that state of panic, war, and fear. We've left our territory when we don't come home to those perceptions. Formations are anything that manifests on the basis of conditions. For example, a flower. A flower grows because it's in soil, because there's rain, there's fertilizer, there's things pollinating it, etc. So there are, according to the Buddhist teachings, 51 mental formations. For example, despair, anger, fear, jealousy, also understanding, mindfulness, loving kindness, compassion, concentration are all formations. When we authorize ourselves, commit ourselves to developing the helpful ones, that yields transformation and healing. And the last of the 5 skandhas, or elements, is consciousness. And that contains seeds that yield formations. It is the soil for all the seeds that arise. So the territory of this person is very large. And if we don't know how to make peace with ourselves, to restore peace and order, continuous mindfulness, deep concentration, continuous commitment to that brotherhood and sisterhood practice, there can be no peace outside us. If our inside territory is occupied, we have no sovereignty. As Thich Nhat Hanh puts it, we have a mess when that's the case. The outside reflects the inside. It's a collective creation that's continually flowing. Paradise, hell are both collective manifestations. So when we commit ourselves to sovereignty and occupation of our territory, that is the most powerful thing that probably any one of us can do to contribute to peace for everyone. So we need to go home and recover our territory. We might not actually be strong enough to do that all by ourselves, alone. And this is where our Sangha, our brotherhood and sisterhood, can help us. We can rely on them. And then we need to do the restoration and the reclamation of our territory in each moment. The only moment we ever have, the eternal now. And we go home to our territory by the energy of continuous mindfulness. And within that, especially a familiarity of breath. Everybody can start there. Everybody can return there. In the Vinayas, we see many, many, many talks by the Buddha where he talks about the mindfulness of breathing being good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the end. So an unfailingly helpful practice. Thich Nhat Hanh warns us that our territory might be strange to us, and we might have some fear and shyness about returning to it and putting it in order. He says every half minute of intention will help, that we will actually be able to see the difference, even in one breath, in and out. And it makes a difference. Breathing in, I'm aware of breath. Breathing out, I smile to my heart. We need to embrace and stay with our hearts. Maybe it's the first time you've come home to your heart. Maybe it's the first of many times. But we can spend days, weeks, and years not coming home to our hearts, out of our territory and flailing. So when we embrace our hearts with the energy of mindfulness, we become those mothers with ailing children. We go down in the cellar and up in the attic, and simply with sympathy and compassion and continuous breathing, we take a look at exactly what's there and we put it in order. Again, continuously mindful of our breath, teaching ourselves, our bodies, our minds, how to concentrate, practicing with the help of our Sangha. So, as Thich Nhat Hanh says, show your sympathy, show your care, show your love to your heart. Let your heart know you commit to taking care of it and will not give it a hard time. Otherwise, love, peace cannot succeed with those outside, with our families. And in that way, we abandon not only ourselves, but all those that our heart loves. So, that's all I have to say for today. And I welcome anything you'd like to say, ask, share.
Thank you, Kyoku. I felt your talk was like a guided meditation. And when I read the sutras that are recorded in the Nikayas, even though the Buddha had very sophisticated conceptual schemes that he was laying out for people, they had no lack of precise cognitive development. Still, it feels to me when I'm reading those sutras that he was just giving a guided meditation to people. And we read oftentimes about all 500 people in the congregation were enlightened. So how would that happen if it weren't some kind of coming out of some deep presentation, not just kind of an intellectual thing. But some of my favorite sutras are the same thing, but it ends with and this is what I feel happens most to me in my Dharma talks, the person or the people he's talking to, well, thanks a lot, Buddha, that was really great, but I'm really busy and I got to get going now. So, so I'm happy for but not every time everybody gets enlightened every time the Buddha speaks a sentence or two. So I like the contrast. But anyway, thank you so much. That's what for your talk. So
You're welcome. Yes, I'm thinking of a sutra that I read where there was a guy that came to a talk and he was very respectful and he heard it and listened and then did his gotta go now. And after he left, the Buddha said, if he'd stayed, he would have been enlightened. And at the time, I was pretty new to Buddhist practice, and it really jolted me. I was really a little bit panicky because I thought, oh, whoa.
well,
I could be missing out on this. I have been missing out on this.
I also like it usually when the person says, I got to get going now. I have lots of things to attend to. I'm very busy. And the Buddha's response generally is, do as you see fit to do. So it's like he's not, most of the time, he's not bothered by, did they get enlightened or didn't they? Or what do they have to do? So he's just very even keeled throughout the whole time. That's another thing I appreciate about those sutras. So, thank you.
Ken? You might be able to unmute him, Dokai.
Oh boy, can I?
If you go up to participants, click on down in the bottom tray, you should see participants.
Oh, okay. I see it, kind of.
Yeah, click on that. It should open up in the right-hand column, and then you can go in and unmute it.
Well, okay. It says ask to unmute.
Maybe.
There we go.
There, is that better?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, Kyoko, it's so good. Your presence is so good, and your presence gives me the whole talk already. And I'm so glad I was able to hear, because a lot of times on these hookups I can't understand. So I'm very grateful. Makes a big difference for my day and my week and my outlook. Here are my old dear friends, and I'm so grateful for the warmth of your friendship.
Likewise.
So it's just a thank you, a deep one. I think you're all in different places, right? Yes.
Yes, I think you're right, Ken. Pretty much. Except for John and Marilyn.
But we're never missing from the present.
Well, let me just add, I saw somebody yesterday who was, my mind is about gone, but who's brought me up to date on things, what's going on at Hokyoji, and I'm very, very impressed and ever so grateful for all of you who are putting effort into it. So grateful. It really feels like there's in terms of interest in each other and support for this practice, there's kind of a blooming still happening. That's very, very nice to see. So I want to express to all of you, Carl, and every one of you, my great gratitude for what you're doing down there, for keeping those fires burning and expanding, deepening the practice that we started at Hokyoji. Thank you ever so much.
Well, you're welcome. As it happens, we have a visitor who is a teacher of yoga and Tai Chi, who is checking out the facility to maybe bring a group down here in September or October. So we continue to really appreciate your donations, which are generous, and the support that really gives us to grow and offer this place to more and more people.
Carl, let me just mention, because these things kind of tend to stay in the background, we don't notice, but your work at Hokyoji is so evident every time I see a picture of it or see anything of the grounds, or I know for its day-to-day survival and nurturing and growth, you've played a tremendous role. So just want to add that note of a very deep gratitude.
Well, I thank you, Ken, and it's really nice to see you and hear your comments. You know, I tell people it's a privilege to be able to do the work at Hokyoji. You know, you don't often find work that you feel is so significant and meaningful to so many people, and it's been a privilege. So
that's wonderful.
Yes. Thank you so much. And before I go on mute, I think it's time to sing Kyoku happy birthday, because yesterday, I believe, was her birthday.
Friday.
Friday.
Wonderful.
Yes, and it was actually the same birthday as Erin Jorgensen, our past staff person. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. We're going to get that Bill Murray song going there.
I love the harmony. Yes, I texted with Aaron, and he yesterday was enjoying being at an amusement park. So I'm picturing him on a roller coaster.
Yeah, I think they went to Valley Fair. Is that what it's called? Valley Fair? Somewhere south of Minneapolis, big place.
That's Valley Fair. Yep.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
Sounds like we're winding down.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Kyoku, again. And the next week, we have Aaron Davis speaking on the state of peace. So a good follow-up to your talk, I think. And I believe she might be using text from the Metta Sutta for her talk, if that's correct. So I see Erin nodding her head, so maybe I'm getting that right. So, okay. So Hokyoji upcoming events in July and August are on Monday, 7/11, the Clouds and Water Retreats begins. If you're interested in that, contact Clouds and Water. They're doing their registrations, their own registrations. On August 5th, we have a family community weekend. That's a Hokyoji event, and you can register through Hokyoji if you would like to come to that. It's just a family get together, pretty informal, kids around, we hope. So, and then on August 13th, Hokyoji Jewel Mir Sesshin begins with Reverend Gumbo and Daigaku Rume and myself leading that retreat. We like for you to follow us on social media and do a little like every now and then. And donations are always deeply appreciated, large and small. So consider that. And at this point, we can close with the 4 vows. Okay, I will lead them. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to realize it. Okay. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday, Kyoku.
Marilyn, how did your retreat go?
Oh,
Oh, I haven't had it yet. It's
okay.
coming up. Yeah, it's coming up. Thank you.
happy 4th.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, there we go.